Well, hello once again. My name is Gavin Smith, and I'm back with Dr. Kaiser, talking about the growth of Westfield and what we'll be able to see for the future as we continue to grow as a district and as a community. So my first question for you is, since taking the job, what are some aspects as superintendent that you've been able to see or that you've enjoyed the most when working here?
Well, I think the most enjoyable thing is being here with you.
Yeah.
And being around students. I went to the wrestling match last night.
Oh, yeah.
I've got other events I want to get to, school plays. I just love, being a former high school principal, going to those type of events. I think being able to reach out to our parents on a lot of different topics, referendum being one of them. And again, we thank our parents for their support on the referendum. That was critical for the next 8 years. We should not have to do any referendums until 8 years from now, which
Yeah.
is really important.
Yeah.
But I just think it's getting to reacquaint myself with the Westfield community. I lived here for 12 years. I've been gone for 20, and so it's good to be back and be part of this great community.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we had the opportunity, obviously, to talk to you about the passing of the referendum previous to going into winter break. What is the main idea, or basically the growth that we're able to see with the WWS district, and how we'll be able to serve the community with the growth that we're seeing?
Well, over the last year and a half, I've asked a lot of questions of our community on, for example, like grade level alignment.
Yeah.
Do you like the 5-6 concept? Do you prefer a 6-7-8? I've asked, do you want a second high school? Which I don't have a lot of people asking for that, but we're always open to that input. And so for the last year and a half, and as I meet with groups and everything, I've just been asking a lot of questions and listening. Well, the Wednesday after the referendum, it was time now to go to the next level, which we're referring to as Destination Westfield. We are the fastest growing community in the state of Indiana. We're the fastest growing school. We've grown 350 kids over the summer, and then we've grown almost another 70 kids since school started. So over the last 2 years, we've grown over 750 students. Now, luckily, it's spread out, and not just at the high school or other buildings. So it's a gradual growth throughout the district, but we're growing.
Yeah.
So we're using the term again, Destination Westfield. What are our next steps?
Yeah. So you took the job about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Did the growth that you're seeing now meet your expectations when you first took the job?
Well, during the first semester I was here, we did a demographic study.
Yeah.
And I knew we were growing because I looked at the data in the past. So the growth has actually outpaced the demographic study that was done. Wow. So normally you do a demographic study every 3 to 5 years. Well, we're going to be looking at doing another one sooner than that.
Right.
The number of home starts that have already been approved by the city of Westfield, I don't have that number here at the top of my tongue, but it's tremendous. All you have to do is look at the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So even with higher interest rates, we don't see the growth slowing down.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared for the unknown and the known. We know there's going to be some growth, but we have to design Destination Westfield for what's this school district going to be like for the next 20 years, which is hard to anticipate.
So going along with the school district, how are we going to be able to see the school district impact the community overall, even if it's downtown or outside, even Westfield even?
Well, I think a big part of being a superintendent of a school corporation, we're probably the largest entity to help with economic growth.
Yeah.
Obviously, the city council and the mayor's office, they approve businesses coming here. But people shop schools. And we know that by the number of people that are building homes at all different levels of cost and homes. They're coming and they're not stopping. So I think the role of the school is we have a great relationship with the city, Chamber of Commerce. We all work together on economic development. For example, we're going to put in tennis courts, what I call the old intermediate school softball diamonds that my daughters played on. We own that, and we're going to put tennis courts there.
Right.
What that does, it helps that neighborhood and the new condominiums that are being built down by Park Street. It helps grow that whole area because we're putting recreational amenities in. We have to address additional softball, baseball, football, rugby, lacrosse fields in our community because we're growing so much and our kids need places to practice.
Yeah.
Those are all things related to economic development and enhancing the growth. and we have the ability to do this because of the growth. We can build buildings and build tennis courts and not have to raise the tax rate. We're adamant. We've got to keep our tax rates low. In fact, we've dropped our tax rate over 30 cents over the last 5 or 6 years. So because of the growth and debt coming off, we can build what we need to build and keep the individual taxpayer the same, at least from the school standpoint.
Right. What are some of the main challenges that you've had to face when dealing with changing the, I guess, plan of the district? What are the main things that you've had to face that may have gotten in the way of growing?
Well, I think the key thing, I'm not sure we've faced challenges yet, but one of our core values as a school corporation is shared leadership and collaboration. And so, from the day I got here, I've asked a lot of people, what do you think? Where do we go? What would you like to see? And so now, like, for example, I've met with the intermediate school teaching staff. I've met with the high school teaching staff yesterday. I've met with the middle. I met with one of our 6 elementary schools. And I'm laying out the different options for what we might look like going forward in our K-8 alignment. And I just ask them questions, and I'm getting feedback. So it's not like there's challenges or obstacles, but I think we have to follow our core beliefs and our values, and that's collaboration, and that's getting feedback and being active listeners. So it's a process. It's a process that's enjoyable. At Oak Trace yesterday, the passion, last night at the high school when we met in large group, the passion of the teachers about their buy-in to this community is just tremendous because so many of them live here. So it's exciting, challenging, but also a ride that we're going to enjoy together as a community and as a team.
Absolutely. So talking about the library, what are the changes that you're implemented for that?
They're moving dirt. We're excited about that. The location is going to be great for our community. So immediately we teamed with the library and we purchased it. And to start with, when we first bought it, we said, well, we're buying it for future educational opportunities. Well, I had a meeting last fall with Nikki, who leads our fabulous culinary arts program, and we were talking about the new ag science program and how that could connect with the food science that we offer in agri-science with what we're offering. And we started talking about culinary arts. She goes, they have a brand new facility. We need more space. They've catered so many events over the last year. And I just sat there with Nikki and I said, well, what if we take the library and build a kitchen over there and you guys run your culinary catering program out of that building? And so right now, at least the name we're using now, we're open to suggestions obviously, is that we want to refer to that as the Shamrock Community and Event Center. We'll offer space, for offices to other community groups. But, the library is really in pretty good shape from the standpoint of the structure. So we're open an area out in the middle, so it's really an event center. You can rent it out. It could be used for after-school activities. We might have a little coffee shop in there. So if you want to go over there and study after school and get, your favorite mocha or whatever. But we really want that to be the center of our community for engagement activities. Chamber meetings can be held there. Right now, the Kiwanis Club meets there, other groups. So we just want that to be a gathering place for our community.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I know the middle school and intermediate school are practically at maximum capacity. What is the plan or ideas that have come to life to kind of develop those grades in a way?
Well, for those that don't know, the middle school used to be the old high school and the old middle school and the road in between it. When I lived here in the community. And we've done a lot of remodels, and we still have a lot of touching up to do. So we have 2 options. We have the option of building a new intermediate because we are at capacity. That building was built originally for 700 intermediate school kids. We've added on, it's 1,400. We're not adding on that anymore. It's too large the way it is.
Absolutely.
And so we can build a second 5-6 building and a second 7-8 building. That's an option. The other option we have, similar to other districts around us, we can turn the current middle school into a 6, 7, 8 building. And, 6th grade can be its own, concept within that school setting. And then we can take our 5th grade and we can move them back to our 6 elementaries as we build the 7th elementary. So if we own land out 171st and Ditch, out in that area, and we could build a new elementary there. That would give us 7 elementaries if we decide to go this way.
Yeah.
But the elementary needs to be built because of the tremendous growth out there. We need to build a new middle school. And so we can go 256, a second 5-6, second middle, or we can make the both middle schools, the new one we need to build, and the current one, 6, 7, 8, put 5th grade back and have 6th grade. So those are our 2 major options at this point in time.
I'm going to touch the line a little bit with this question, but with 5th grade teachers, how would that work, pushing them back into the elementary school?
Good question. So because we built the Early Learning Center,
Right.
and Dr. Great and the board and the administration had that vision that if they built that, that would give us some time in the elementary schools and some extra classrooms. So with some, we have enough room, we believe, in the current 6 elementaries, along with the new 7th one. And also, by the way, before I forget, if we go the 6, 7, 8, the current intermediate school will become the 8th elementary school.
Oh, okay.
So that gives us a lot of flexibility to lower the number of students in the elementary schools, which provide ability for growth long term in all elementaries. And so we can put that 5th grade back from that standpoint. So again, two decisions. Do you build a second 5-6 building, a second middle school, or do you create 2 6 7 8s, put 5th grade back? Then the intermediate school would become a 8th elementary along with the new one. And we're open to ideas, what we call the elementary schools. We haven't had much discussion on that, but that's kind of the decision. And again, that's why I'm going out talking to the educators. I believe our teachers and the administrators, we need to make this decision because we're trained educators. We believe that we'll get a lot of parent input once we make the decision on how we implement and things like this. But the bottom line is I'm kind of on a tour of the district, meeting with all the principals and all the teachers, and I've got 5 elementary buildings to get to in the next 3 weeks to help us make and finalize this decision.
Absolutely. Is there anything you're most excited for when looking into the future, or is there like a number one thing that you think is going to impact Westfield or even the district the most?
I just think we are just an exceptional school district.
Yeah.
I think we can be great across the board. I think there's a lot of things like we've added ag science at the high school. That helps, it fills a gap. We want to add ROTC at the high school. We have to look at, we've got a great career academy concept that we're doing with the high school. We need to expand that.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of kids, when they graduate from high school, they've decided, I'm not ready to go to that next level. What skills do we have for those kids? So looking at some additional areas in career and university concept is going to be really important for us. So we're working on those type things. But I think it's also a chance for us to look inside. For example, what electives are we looking at the elementary schools?
Yeah.
Well, if we're having a little bit smaller, we do schedule a little bit differently. What does that look like? Do we add different concepts? Do we enhance we have got a really good technology and STEM going on, but can we enhance that? Are there things different we can do with our language program? So our world language. So I think it's just a good opportunity as we're growing. We're going to have to add on to the high school. We've already outgrown our band room.
Yeah.
Great job by Andrew and his team in the middle school and intermediate. But we've got to look at performing arts. We don't have room for the auditorium and stagecraft and all those other great things the kids are doing. So there's just a lot going on. But it's all about collaboration. It's all about talking to the educators who are in the trenches. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, they're the practitioners. They know what we need. So it's exciting. I talked to some of our world language teachers yesterday. I'd love to see 25 to 30 foreign exchange students here a year.
Mm-hmm.
What a great way to learn about the diversity in our world. So let's enhance that program. Let's add ROTC. Let's look at the things that we think can take us to that pinnacle. We're in the top 5 in the state of Indiana in high schools and school districts. Let's be number 1.
Yeah. Going off the topic of world language, has there been any thought about putting different electives like world language into elementary school?
Yeah, that's one of the topics. I think that's one thing we explore.
Yeah.
Well, we have to look at the research. What does the research say? How effective that is? So again, that's a topic that we'll be discussing with this. Kind of, as we said, it's it's Destination Westfield.
Yeah.
Abbott here. They hire 20 new engineers. They're coming from all over the world.
Yeah.
Do we have in place the language programs to meet the needs? Do we look at a dual immersion program, for kids and lower? So there's just a lot of topics that we're going to explore. That's what excites me.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this meeting today?
I will say one thing. Once we finalize this decision where we're going, I would love to be invited into your house.
Yeah.
Invite 4 or 5 neighbors, come over. I got to watch the cookies. I've gained 25 pounds since I've started, but we love to go into homes. We did this during the referendum. We did this earlier. Invite 4 or 5 neighbors over. Let's talk about this plan, whatever we finalize the plan. If you want to host us in one of your clubhouses starting in February, set a time. I said this at the board meeting. Set a time with Stacy in my office. We'll come out.
Yeah.
We want to talk to the community on once we kind of get this decision moving forward. How do we implement it? How do we do it? We're going to be looking somewhere down the road. Don't panic. But eventually, we're going to have to redistrict elementary schools. Mm-hmm. We need a group of really dedicated parents and educators. That's a year-long process.
Yeah.
And we don't have those answers. So we want to get parents involved in this again, Destination Westfield and taking us to the next level.
Yeah.
So we're just looking for your input. If you want to call me now and give me, based on what you've heard today, what are your thoughts? We'll listen. But we'll start having community meetings as we move forward. And we need to get the input of our educators and kind of make these decisions and move forward and make Westfield, it is the destination in the state of Indiana. We just need to keep pushing forward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about the growth of Westfield and all that we're doing. I think it's really amazing to see what we're able to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.